So you're still struggling to get your needs and feelings validated with that lover of yours, parent, family member, loved one. Still struggling to get your point across, right? And have them validate your experience. Well, great. Stick towards the end of this video, and by then, you'll be able to communicate better, set healthy boundaries, and see if maybe you can change the dynamic within your relationship so that way you can express your own needs and be heard and seen. And that way, whoever you're communicating with can also express themselves vulnerably to you. Let's get it. So here's something very important that I've come to realize, especially if maybe you might be dealing with someone you may seem to think they may be like narcissistic, right? Usually when you go to them and like they'll go ahead and say, nope, it's your fault. That's why I react this way. When you go bring up their reaction, right, towards you, or you bring up and express your need like, hey, this is how you're behaving. This is how I feel when you do this. And you're claiming this is how you feel when they do this behavior because you're taking power over your own emotions. You can't let anybody make you feel a certain way. So then putting the responsibility on them and they deflect, right? You're bringing up to them, thought I had something on my beard here. You're bringing up to them a very important need that you would prefer to have a shift in the relationship in order to have a healthy relationship, right? And they're deflecting. Well, one of the biggest things to do is to not buy into the deflection and realize like, hey, I get what you're expressing. However, let's go back to what I'm expressing to you. Because a lot of the times we'll end up like buying into their narrative, which is a quick deflection. And technically narcissistic type people will do this, right? They don't have to be like actual disordered narcissists to do this stuff. They can just have the trait, which is a survival mechanism, right? For people that don't want to look within and take responsibility. Because sometimes it hurts to look within and be like, hey, I did this, or this is how I react. People don't typically like to change themselves, especially if they start to recognize that they've been in the wrong. Because it hurts to look at that, right? And it's much needed. And if you don't do this and keep the focus onto them, you're not giving them the opportunity to grow, and especially grow with you, because you'll be growing apart. And especially with family, when you grow up with family and they've treated you a certain way for so long, especially in relationships too, eventually you just break up, or eventually you want to stop seeing that family member. Christmas gatherings don't become so much fun. Thanksgiving isn't so thankful, right? So it's important to always go back to what the key focus is. And I'm going to give you an example. My mom has been recently having like a spiritual awakening and getting into like third eyes and energy, which is amazing. So I'm able to connect with her a little bit deeper now. And I had mentioned to her how I've been feeling the last like year or so after moving back into her condo. And she had came to visit not that long ago. And she had like eaten yogurt, and I had just ran the dishwasher. And I stopped by and I saw her like open the dishwasher, and then like I looked like she put a spoon in there, and she didn't know that they were clean because like we have, I have this like sign. Well, we have like a stuffed monkey that I put over it that's magnetic over the dishwasher to like the handle. And like I thought she got confused and I thought she put a dirty dish in there. And I'm just like, hey, did you just put a dirty dish in there? And she's like, nope. And I'm like, okay, because those are clean, right? And then so I was like, knowing her, she's kind of had this ADD, ADHD kind of behavior. She's very hyper and like forgets things. She does things really quickly. So I ended up running the dishwasher again after she left because I'm just like, F it, I don't know. Like one of these looks like maybe it wasn't washed right or something, but I'm just like, and the germaphobe in me started kicking in. I'm not a full-on germaphobe, but I was just like, man, like, I don't know, like, it bothered me, okay? And it was a little, I think the word is neurotic on my end. It was a little much overreaction. I could have just, done something else or just trusted that she didn't. Anyway, so she left, and then she had forgotten something and came back, and then she like freaked out at me. She's like, why are you running the dishwasher again? Right? And then she like called me some bad names or something, and like, because she gets in this like reactive state and we're from Bulgaria, so she has this very like intense way of bringing out her feelings. A lot of the times it's calling me worthless or like, you know, other things. Most importantly though is this is the exact behavior that I was able to talk to her about the other day, and today we brought it up again, and then she realized why that happened. And you know, she's like, "Oh, actually, I do," because I was like, I was telling her I'm grateful that we're able to like express this stuff together, and you're realizing things and you're taking accountability for once. Because never in a million years did I think she would start taking accountability for the way she reacts. Yet she wants to better herself. She wants to be a better person, coming from a more loving space, which is amazing, right? And if I don't give her the opportunity to view where like it bothered me and I express my feelings vulnerably, it's not giving her the opportunity to grow. And I realize I haven't been doing that for a very long time because I've just been suppressing it. I've just been used to suppressing my feelings and not explaining them because I just think she's not going to believe me, which normally was the case. Maybe it just wasn't time. And now she's finally realizing some of this stuff. So we had this conversation again because she remembered what it was for. So I'd brought up to her like, hey, you know, you called me worthless a couple times in different situations, and that's not a good feeling because I started kind of buying into that. You're my mom, right? Even though it's my fault to take that on, like she shouldn't make me feel any way about myself. Nobody ever should. That's called empowerment, right? So I brought it up to her and she remembered that thing. She's like, oh, it's because you ran the dishwasher again. I don't like that you did that. And then see, she's pointing out why she did this behavior, right? And blaming it on me. And then I'm like, no, no, no. Remember, you chose to react to me this way because of what I did. Like, and she's like, oh, you're right. I could have not reacted this way. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you names. Like, that was just me being angry and you know, in that space. Because she now knows how much it bothers me when she calls me worthless. So she took accountability for that. And then I also validated her feelings in return. I'm like, you're right. You too are right. Running the dishwasher again was a little wild. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. I know you misplace things often. And she lost her wallet recently. And she's like, I know I put it somewhere. And then she can't remember where it's at. Because she lives at her boyfriend's house. And then she has her room here too. So, you know, that's why I was like, I just ran. I'm like, F it, I don't want to deal with it. And then, of course, like she came back and like freaked out. Except, see, prior, it was like she only cared about her freak out. And then it was all my fault and everything else. Except she couldn't realize her behavior towards me. Right? And it's like, it's almost like a narcissistic thing to not accept it. And then let's say, hold yourself accountable and take responsibility. Because somebody doesn't want to be better or be a better person, or you're not giving the opportunity to be better in your life, then you're just walking on eggshells with them. So she validated my feelings and apologized, which she's been doing recently, and wonderful, absolutely. And I also validated what she was mentioning, because she did yell at me and freak out, right? Now, I also had this ex-girlfriend who has this, like, she claims her mom is ADHD or ADD. And this ex-girlfriend is like 6 years older than me. And I believed she was, some of the people around me believed she had either bipolar disorder or like, I realized after doing so much research is like in healing, because I believe she was covert narcissist, depending on how she was treating me. Either way though, I'm grateful for all the experiences because it taught me how to set boundaries and it taught me how to be more stronger in my frame because I did anything she wanted. And she found ways to manipulate me into doing things by just nagging me on small things that didn't even matter. When I could have just said, no, I don't agree with this. I could have stayed strong to myself instead of people pleasing and letting her step and walk all over me. And then eventually, anything that she ever said, it was like, okay, it's my fault. Everything's my fault. And I started like whimpering and letting her control my life. And where did I get this controlling behavior from? Well, this is familial patterns from my dad and my mom. So it's like I attract people based off of these things, right? And the point is that I'm making here, and I got a little off topic, is she had, you know, her mom and her, she had mentioned that her and her mom don't talk about certain things because they know it will she'll get triggered, and then it goes back and forth, and nobody ends up hearing each other. Right? And that's like no way to live in any relationship. Like, it's time for everybody to want to be better. And the key to all of this is to be able to be non-attached to the outcomes and be able to be taking responsibility, your ability to respond in a healthy way, which you prefer, to whatever conversation is happening. Yes, sometimes the response is, hey, this is enough. We're done with this conversation because it's not going anywhere. However, if you can reach that place where both people are understanding each other and you can point out like, hey, you're deflecting and you're not realizing what I'm pointing out to you, then you can have a healthier conversation. You can both have your feelings validated. I do believe as we raise our vibration, as we make these shifts from within and add our awareness to these things, that our world changes. Because imagine resolving conflicts like that, with people actually being able to express their needs, even countries, and finding a place to compromise. And it's like, hey, this is where it's happening. You know, taking breaks and not busting out into like some kind of battle. And that takes, number one, is the ownership of realizing your own feelings and being able to express vulnerability to others. And giving them the opportunity to grow and pointing it out and not hiding behind there's eggshells around it. It's like, okay, if you can't express yourself vulnerably and you've tried it multiple times and you can express that, hey, I've been trying to get to you. I've been trying to tell you how I feel. You deflect, you do this. Are you willing to make incremental adjustment with me in our relationship? Because I want to have a good relationship with you. Because you do. Otherwise, why would you be in it? Why would you be trying so hard, right? If you can do that and come from a place of unconditional love, and unconditional like means without the condition needing to change, you're still going to be okay. And you still want the best for them. Except you set your very conditional boundaries. Like if they keep disrespecting you and they're not getting it, and you've been trying from the best of your ability to explain stuff to them, then, well, it is time to let go. This relationship is no longer serving you. Because number one, it showed you how to express your boundaries and your needs. And you're going to keep seeing a reflection of those same types of people until you learn how to set boundaries, until you learn how to express your needs. And my mom, too, has struggled for this for a long time. She had a work situation where somebody delegated her task to her. And then I was like, well, Mom, you got to express your needs. The manager, you can't just, she thought originally she was just going to like let go of it and like just let it be and deal with it. And I'm like, no, that's literally how it ends up continuing happening over and over and over. Because you're not expressing your needs. And she never expressed her needs to my dad. They're divorced now because he was abusive. She suppressed all of her emotions. Same with my grandma. She did that. Familiar generational curse. It's been taught through generations in my family to suppress your needs and your emotions. And I did that for a very long time, which led me to being toxic masculine when I was like 18, 19, and 21, I think, after me and this girlfriend I had for 2.5 years. And she was the biggest blessing and lesson in my life to learn how to set boundaries. You know, and then I started realizing after we broke up this last time, it was kind of like, well, now I have a worthiness wound and I wasn't worthy to get back together with her, but we both wanted it to end. I wanted it to end for a very long time. Point being, though, is until then I started shifting because I realized it's time for me to express my emotions because I didn't do that with her. I did it in passive aggressive ways, like breaking up with her. And because I didn't want to be with her anymore, she had lied to me about a couple of things, even though she still showed up and did her best. And it became a toxic relationship where we would get back together and whatnot. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know how to express those things. And through that, I had a choice to make, right? You always get two choices. Either you get to be better or you can stay bitter, or you can stay in the same place that you are. And don't wish for life to get easier. Wish for you to be better. Because when you get better at these things, life becomes easier. You're able to express yourself the way you want. You're able to recognize who's going to actually be in your life to care about you. That way you don't have to be putting in all the legwork. So Start recognizing these things and allow people the opportunity to grow with you. I know you're sick and tired of it. So either you stay in that sick and tired energy and you stay stuck, or you allow yourself and allow them the opportunity to grow with you. Or you grow apart and you allow the destruction of that relationship and you terminate it. Not destruction. Destruction is like a really bad thing. You terminate it at the end of the relationship because you realize you've tried to set boundaries. You try to express yourself. They're not getting it still. Hey, they're not meant for you anymore. And guess what? You learned how to set your boundaries, how to honor your voice, and how to step through that so you don't have the fear of expressing yourself. And now you're in freedom. And the next relationship that comes up, guess what? It's going to be a repeat of the same thing. And this time you're well more equipped and you're going to recognize the patterns. You're going to express your feelings much easier. And either they shift forward like with you to make incremental adjustment, or that relationship isn't meant to work either. Maybe you just avoided a dumpster fire relationship. So you just keep moving on and you keep doing it. And then eventually you meet someone who's been on the same journey as you, on the self-help journey, this healing type work, and you finally meet someone who's in balance. And life just becomes this la la land fantasy, except you got to do the inner work. You have to initiate and take action towards this type of life. You have to be this version. And you can't stand the fear of expressing your needs anymore. Okay? So have an alchemizing day. Beautiful soul. Much love. Bye.